All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Karen Arriviaga, and I am a sales development representative here at Qualtrics. We are very excited to be presenting this webinar today, Two Powerful Systems, One Solution, truly about the integration between Qualtrics and JusticeTrax and our ongoing partnership. Now, before we get started, I like to just go through a couple of housekeeping items. First, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to put those into the Zoom question and answer section, and those will review those at the end. If there's questions that we can answer, we'll be happy to do so at the end of the presentation. Also, this webinar will be recorded. That recording will be available on our website for you to view at another time or share with other people within your organization if you would like to. Next slide. So who are you going to hear from today? Like I said, my name's Karen Arriviaga. I'm in the sales department here at Qualtrics, and I'm just going to go through a couple of slides about who Qualtrics is and facilitate the webinar. But we're really excited to have Ann Moody on, who's an implementation specialist from JusticeTrax. She's going to go through how the systems are connected and show you what that integration actually looks like. Next slide. So we actually have a variety of attendees on today. Some are JusticeTrax customers, some are Qualtrics customers, some are both, and then some are neither. So we wanted to start off by just telling you a little bit about each company. For those that don't know, we are Qualtrics. We are a compliance management software company that helps organizations simplify their compliance burdens by managing their quality initiatives with our product. Next slide. We take a technology team approach by offering an electronic quality management system. We pair that with our team commitment to our customers and their industries. Our mission really is to make compliance easy for our customers and inspire a culture of quality. We want to work with organizations that don't just think about quality when an audit is coming up, but are actually looking to make continuous improvements each day. We were founded back in 1993. And we've been ISO 9001 since about 96. I'm actually happy to say that we recently just got certified to ISO 9001 2015 about 2 months ago, and we use our own product to do so. We're headquartered in Blacksburg, Virginia. A number of you were actually just here for our user conference a couple months ago, and that is actually home to Virginia Tech. Let me go to the next slide. So within Qualtrics, we're helping our organizations with a couple of different types of functionalities within the product. First is process management. With the process management, we like to call this our workflow engine, and we're ultimately automatically automating any process that you might have with your organization. A lot of times it's corrective actions or internal audits, but it really can be any process that you might have. This is great to gain visibility of process gaps and bottlenecks, and then they really can be cross-functional around a lot of different departments that you might have. Our system also offers testing and training management, and so this functionality will allow you to track your employees' effectiveness and training completion. You can set up different tests and trainings with minimal efforts, and so managers can easily track employees' training progress and performance. The data is in real time, so you really can run really nice reports to see who has finished what within their training and testing. And then last but not least, document management. So making sure that all of your documents are in one location, they can be easily found by anybody within your organization, and they're going to always have the most up-to-date revision in their hands to use and to view. This is great to meet document control requirements, and everything is also set up with automatic alerts letting you know that you have things to complete within the system. All three of these functions are also tied to a reportable platform, so you always have all of the information you're putting in Qualtrics at your fingertips to report for visibility. And next. So we are really excited about this partnership that we have with JusticeTrax and this integration that Ann's going to show you a little bit here in a second. we're excited to have them as a partner, but then we're also excited to have them as a customer. Justice Tracks actually uses Qualtrics for their ISO 9001 certification. So this is a quote from their president, Simon Key, explaining that connection. And at this time, I'm going to introduce Ann Moody to you from Justice Tracks, who will now take over the presentation to talk to you about what this integration looks like and Justice Tracks. Ann?
Yep. Hey guys, Ann here. And as Karen mentioned, I am from Justice Tracks. I'm an implementation specialist, and I'm super excited to have this opportunity to demonstrate the integration between our two products. And like she mentioned here, we are an ISO 9001 accredited company as well. Most of our companies are forensic labs, and we noticed that several of them are using Qualtrics to maintain their own accreditations. So we decided to use it also as a tool for maintaining our own accreditation, and it's worked fabulously. So a little bit about Justice Tracks for those of you who are not familiar with us. LIMS Plus is our flagship product. I'll talk about it in just a moment, and it is a forensic case management software. We were established in 1995. Again, we are ISO 9001 accredited, and we are headquartered in Mesa, Arizona. So a little bit more about who we are. Justice Tracks has several products. Again, LIMS Plus is our flagship product, but we have several adjunct products as well. The integration with Qualtrics uses LIMS Plus version 5. We are implemented worldwide, so we have 100+ agencies that use our products, over 165+ laboratories across several continents and across every forensic discipline. Most of our, if 95% of our agencies are accredited to ISO 17025. For our improvement, we use an agile Scrum development process. So we try to give 3 to 6 releasable updates of our products per year. Our version 5 product is a web-based application, and it is in use for 5+ years. And then we have a version 3 product that has been in use for 21+ years. We also are moving that product to web-based platform as well. Or actually, it has already been moved there. And when we say that we are built by, or our products are built by forensic scientists for forensic scientists, we truly mean it. So our business development team and our customer care team are comprised of 10 forensic scientists, and we collectively have over 130 years of experience in forensics. And then our development team has software experts with over 100 years collective experience. So why did we decide to integrate with Qualtrics? Again, we are a customer, and we saw the power that it holds, but we have our forensic labs that use different methods for managing their nonconformities. So for those who use both LIMS Plus and Qualtrics, we felt like it made sense to allow them to have a more seamless approach for information sharing between the two systems. So it allows your users to prevent duplicate data entry, so less fat fingering between 2 different systems. Also, like as an example of how you might use a use case, and I'll demonstrate this in just a moment, but let's say you have a corrective action workflow in Qualtrics and it uses a particular set of cases in LIMS. The integration would allow you to link the workflow directly to the cases, and it helps you to eliminate any manual steps. And thereby it reduces transcription errors. So as Karen mentioned, we want to foster a culture of improvement, quality improvement day to day for our customers. So this helps centralize all of the data that you might need for an audit, but even just every day, you can easily search for your information, and it's immediately visible to your users. And together, we as a team, Qualtrics and Justice Tracks, will continue to improve the integration for ease of use between the two products. And towards the end of the presentation, we'll talk about some future plans. So how do the two products interact? We created an application program interface, an API, that allows LIMS Plus to integrate or to interact directly with Qualtrics. And what does this mean? So currently, the integration involves workflows. You can instantiate Qualtrics workflows from within LIMS Plus, and you can relate it to case entities. So currently, the integration allows you to relate the workflows in Qualtrics to cases in LIMS, evidence items in LIMS, and requests. We'll talk about some examples of how you might use that. Once those workflows have been instantiated, you can search for the workflows within LIMS Plus. You can use filters to retrieve the information that you're looking for, and those filters provide direct links to allow you to access the workflow in Qualtrics. And then finally, within the main case view of LIMS Plus, you'll be able to view any related workflows. So some examples. You might use this integration for quality records. If you have corrective and preventive actions, an example of a case-related workflow might be a case acceptance or rejection policy. For your evidence items, you might have some items that were improperly packaged, and you want to link those directly to a workflow to show that you're documenting that particular that problem. And then you might relate it to amended or re-release reports, supplemental reports. Other examples are chain of custody edits and any kind of deviation approvals that might be needed. You can also link your requests for review processes, so technical, administrative, and other reviews, and support the documentation using the integration. So let's actually take a look at the integration. This is our LIMS Plus version 5 application, and I'm going to start with the login. So if I log into LIMS Plus, at the top, we're outside of the main case view, but we have a toolbar here called Others. If I click on the Qualtrics Workflows button, it brings me to the form that shows all of my available workflows. This drop-down list is using that API to call Qualtrics and find the list of available workflows. I can then further filter my list by specifying the person, the staff member who initiated the workflow, or I might search by a start date or an end date. Once I've entered all of my filters, then I can apply those filters and it will return a list of workflows based on my selected criteria. Eventually, the list will include the initiator name. Currently, it has the initiator ID, but here is that corrective action workflow. Over here on the right is the ID for the workflow, and it is actually a hyperlink. So if I click the hyperlink, it brings me directly to Qualtrics. So now I'm actually in the Qualtrics application, and this is the workflow that's showing that we had some, that we used some expired agents to reagents to perform analysis. And down here at the bottom of this workflow, it shows me all of the related LIMS Plus case entities. So let's pause here for a moment. This is a list of several different cases, several different evidence items, and several different requests. If I pare down, I can view this specific case number here, and it's showing me that this case contains related evidence items, the related request itself, and the related case itself and the request. So let's take a look at what this looks like in LIMS Plus. If I go to that case directly in LIMS Plus and open the main case view for it, you can now see that we've added a Qualtrics tab to the end of the ribbon. If I click on this Qualtrics tab, it shows me all of the various entities of this case that are related to various Qualtrics workflows. I've expanded the tree, and these also contain links that can bring me directly back to the workflow in Qualtrics. So how do we create a new workflow? Again, we're going to leave the main case view and go to our Others menu and then select the workflows again. Instead of searching for existing workflows, we're now going to click on Add Workflow. Again, I'll see a list of the available Qualtrics workflows using that API, and then I can give it a name. So remember, I can link this workflow to cases, evidence items, or requests. I can select one or multiples. Here I'm selecting case and evidence. And then the wizard brings me to the next page where I can either scan the barcode for cases, evidence items, and requests, or use my search feature to easily find them. Once you find them, it's returning a list based on the string I entered. I can select that case, and this is a list of the evidence items associated or in that case. I can now select the items from this case, I can go to additional cases and select items from other cases. And then if I needed to clear that filter, I could do so, enter a different string, and then find some additional cases to relate. Once I'm finished, I'll click Finish, and then my workflow gets created. It appears in my list with that hyperlink, and I can go directly to that workflow in Qualtrics. So let's take a look. If I now select or create my filters of my corrective action demo workflows, I should see two. One from earlier and one that I just created. The 2035 is the ID for the one I just created. I'll select it. It brings me directly to Qualtrics, and I can view the information. So if you needed to add additional information from LIMS, so relate additional cases or relate additional items, once the workflow has been instantiated from within LIMS, we would use this Add Row button here, and it would allow me to add those additional case entities directly here in Qualtrics and save. Once I save, the information goes back to LIMS Plus, and that the Qualtrics workflows will appear in the Qualtrics tab in the main case view for those cases. Okay, so what's next? So I've just demonstrated some examples of use cases that we identified, Justice Tracks and Qualtrics identified, just based on our working relationships with our customers, our experience with implementation and training at our various labs. But as always, our goal is to grow additional use cases and enhance our customers' experience. So we're considering some additional ideas for additional integration points, and I just wanted to point out a few that we discussed. So one is the ability to add additional entity relationships for workflows. So again, we've talked so far about the workflows that are initiated using cases, evidence, and requests. So perhaps you might need to add workflows to lab staff, activities, instruments, batches. Also, with document management, so Qualtrics contains the document management feature, and it does allow you to keep up to date and track revisions and make sure that the most current version of any documents are available for reference. So that might come in handy with associating standard operating procedures in Qualtrics with LIMS Plus requests, or perhaps using those Qualtrics documents in a feature that we have in LIMS Plus called case packets. These are essentially large packets that most labs use for discovery purposes, where they can compile various documents from different parts of the case and perhaps eventually from Qualtrics documents into one large packet. And then finally, Qualtrics has the training management functionality that allows you to track your employees' effectiveness and training completion. So perhaps we could associate those Qualtrics training records with LIMS Plus users in the future. Again, these are just some ideas that we have, but we do welcome your feedback, and we encourage you to reach out to us for any ideas on what you might like to see in the future. So what's next for you? If you guys need to get in touch with us, if you have questions, ideas like I just mentioned, or perhaps you don't have the Qualtrics product and you're interested in it, you can contact Scott Rinkus from Qualtrics, and his contact information is here. For those of you who are interested in LIMS Plus or any of the Justice Tracks products, contact our business development manager, David Epstein. And I thank you for your time. I'm going to turn it back over to Karen now.
Yeah, thank you, Ann. That was fantastic. And I can already see questions starting to roll in. So it looks like we'll have some to answer. The first one, how does somebody get this? How does somebody move forward to get this integration?
Yeah, so for our LIMS Plus users, if you are a LIMS Plus user and you have Qualtrics, then talk to your implementation specialist, and she can help you with setting up that integration. And if you do not have either of those products, then contact David or Scott, like I just demonstrated from the previous slide, and I'll go back to it so you guys have their contact information.
Wonderful. All right. Here's a question that came in from Dave. If we have different login credentials for LIMS and Qualtrics, will we be prompted to log in, or will we have to be logged into both before clicking the hyperlink to move between the two applications?
So you need to be logged into both. However, if you're not, so let's say that I'm logged into LIMS Plus and I'm not yet logged into Qualtrics, and I launch that workflow, it will prompt me to log into Qualtrics and then bring me to the page that I need. Otherwise, if you're logged into both, then it seamlessly integrates and launches the pages that you need.
Great, great. Here's another question. Now, I've got a couple people asking, I think, kind of around the same thing. Will this integration look or work similar for LIMS Plus version 3.8 when complete? And here's another one. Will the integration be available for 3.8?
We do have the integration for 3.8 in our near future plans. The way that it will look, I haven't yet seen. Obviously, the two products look different. So I can talk more with my product manager, but my assumption is that the first pass of the integration would look fairly similar and involve the instantiating of workflows using cases, requests, and evidence.
Okay. And then here's another one. Is the integration restricted to the version of Qualtrics and JusticeTracks?
So with JusticeTracks LIMS Plus version 5, you would need 5.3.19 or higher. And then with Qualtrics, I'll let you answer that.
With Qualtrics, that's something that we can kind of get back to you on. So Renee will reach out to you and talk about that with you on how that would actually work moving forward with our with Qualtrics and what version. All right, and here's another one. And Anne, I'm not sure if you can see this note, but to remind everyone that version 5 customers will get this at no added cost when they upgrade to 5.3.x.
No, I'm not reading the notes, but thank you.
Okay. All right. Here's one. Can you integrate Qualtrics Cloud with JusticeTracks 3.7.3?
Well, so our plans for the version 3 integration are to focus first on the 3.8. So we're hoping to move our customers to the 3.8 platform, but I can certainly jot that down and follow up.
Mm-hmm. All right. And another question that we had just came in, who actually builds this? Is this the user's IT department, or is it JusticeTracks or Qualtrics?
So the development was made by both Qualtrics and JusticeTracks together. Your IT department would not need to do anything other than set up we'll walk your LIMS Plus administrators and Qualtrics administrators through linking the two products, but your IT department doesn't do anything to quote unquote build the products. They're already included in the JusticeTracks LIMS Plus and the Qualtrics products, and the integration is performed using the API.
Great. And that's also something like if you guys are really truly interested in moving forward with this, reaching out to Qualtrics and JusticeTracks to be able to move forward, I think will help with a lot of these questions. They can get the appropriate people on the line to kind of talk through what this would actually look like for you and so on. And so that would definitely be the next step, is reach out to your representatives at either JusticeTracks or Qualtrics, and we'll be happy to get you the information that you need. And with that, and it looks like our questions have stopped. Ooh. One more. Can Qualtrics workflows be linked to multiple cases? Issues with sequence involving 10 cases.
Yes. So in the first example that I showed, there were several different cases actually linked to that first workflow. So you do have the ability to add as many cases as you need to one Qualtrics instance or workflow instance.
Wonderful. All right. Another one that just came in, is this webinar going to be available on demand? Absolutely. We are recording this now. And so it's going to be available on our website. We'll probably also send out a recording of it through email to you all as well. And so you'll be able to reference that if you need to, or if you want to share it with other people within your organization, that would be something that you will be able to access. All right. I think that we are at the end of our presentation. And I don't see any other questions coming in. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, if there's still more questions that you have for our team, whether it's Qualtrics or Justice Tracks, please feel free to reach out to us. We're absolutely happy to help with this and to get you guys on the phone with different representatives from each group to make sure that you are able to get what you need to move forward with this great integration. And thank you so very much for that presentation. It was wonderful. And we're very excited to see where this partnership takes us in the future.
Yes, same to you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And I hope you have a great day.